Alright, hello. Welcome back to more Killing Floor 3. So, last week I missed out on the previous weekly, which I'm not really upset about. But this week is Battle Hardened. Gadget recharge, increased Z health, critical damage. I think this is new. I don't remember Battle Hardened, but they have more health. We're on hard. We are playing Commando. I actually did not want to play Commando. I actually wanted to play Ninja. A lot has changed in just 1 week. I actually ended up buying new computer parts. I am actually, before, I've had the setup for about 10 years. Technically, the build is I would say it's considered like 10 years of components of the build. So I did recently post a picture of it, of my new build. And actually was, I actually recorded a bit of it, but I will talk about it more a bit later on. But I just want to say, like, this is the new build. I am running a Ryzen 5500 with a with my 3050 still. I do plan on upgrading my 3050 to either a 4060 or a 5060. And my CPU processor, I know that the Ryzen 5500 is good for budgets. I primarily do try my best to like min-max my builds a lot, where I don't spend too much, but it still gives me what I need. But I did do some recording where I actually, recorded me building the PC and all that. And I do plan on getting that uploaded at some point in time. But this is technically the official video of me playing with the new build. And I will say I did run into some issues, primarily with trying to launch the game. It's because, one, when I was trying to test out Killing Floor 3 on the new build, on the new rig, it was telling me easy anti-cheat wasn't installed, but it would still pop up as if it was still launching easy anti-cheat, and it was kind of annoying me. And so that was one thing. And then so I ended up solving that problem, which again, it wasn't like the end of the world for me, but I did look into it more and try to figure out, like, okay, what's going on here. And so, you have to do something. You have to make a shortcut of one of the applications for easy anti-cheat to actually, fix itself. And so I did that. I did like maybe like an hour or two trying to figure out what was going on, because it wasn't really specifying. And when I tried to do some of the other parts, I was trying to figure out, okay, well, like, I'm doing everything they're telling me to do, but nothing's happening. Hour or 30 minutes or so, and then it started to work. So the other thing that started to happen was the fact that when I was able to actually launch Killing Floor, turns out my motherboard doesn't like XMP. So on every launch of Killing Floor, even when I make it through the loading, like, not even like the loading screen, it's like the main like just compiling shaders, it would crash my game. So, or completely crash my, not even just the game, it would crash my whole system. So I thought that was weird. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna launch it and see how it goes, because at one point it went past where it would usually crash. So I was like, okay, we're safe. And then it would immediately crash right after that. So turns out it was the XMP that I turned on, and that was the only difference I was thinking of when it came to just in general, like when it came to my computer. So that was another thing. So I ended up disabling XMP for now. I'm probably going to adjust it, because I found out that XMP does cause blue screens for me. or in general, like it can't. You're overclocking the RAM. So I was like, oh, okay, well, so I did research on the motherboard that I have, and it was very like, yeah, it should be able to handle the 32,000 megahertz of RAM, but it would crash my computer completely. So I wasn't very happy about that. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. But I mean, either way, I kind of thought like, okay, well, I wasn't really using XMP on my previous build or in general. So I was like, okay, well, it's not too much of a hassle for me because technically speaking, all in all, the new RAM running at stock is perfectly fine by me. Like, if I'm able to run things and do whatever I need to do, it is totally fine by me. But that's just me. I mean, some people will be like, oh, well, why don't you just, try to get all the more high-end stuff? Like, why didn't you do AM5? Well, my only gripe is that, I'm kind of used to just being, like, a gen or two behind. Because I've had that motherboard and that whole build was on AM3. So, I was very like, okay, that's, like, cool and all, but, I should have, I didn't realize that AM4 was already on its, like, final leg of development in terms of, like, support, I mean. So, but either way, I mean, that just means that I'm able to upgrade the PC much easier now rather than, buying a part that would be, like, obsolete after, like, a few months, So, I think that's the main reason why I do like getting parts later on, but I found out that it was a bad idea to start building a PC at this time because the RAM that I did specifically want to get, which was a name brand, it was very expensive. And when I was looking up videos on builds and everything, it was very like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And so everything was more expensive in terms of just RAM by itself. And usually, like, the RAM was, like, I have 32 gigs of RAM right now, right? And that's perfectly fine by me because that's what I had on my previous rig anyways. And, maybe it might be a bit overkill now because it's AM4 instead of AM3. But I kind of wanted to have it as a safety net so that I was able to actually, actually be able to get my rendering and everything situated. And it also is a good thing too. So, I mean, just in general, just to have more RAM. But in general, I mean, I'm enjoying my build, but I do plan on upgrading my CPU because my CPU is technically still on AM3 now. It's because it is on an AM4 board, but it is not running at an AM or PC or a Gen 4, basically. It's not running on Gen 4 due to the fact that the Ryzen 5500 is still technically doesn't support PC Gen 4 support, So that's the only thing that's really hindering it. And so I do plan on getting something along like a Ryzen 7. I think it's a 5700X, I believe. So that is a good balance for what I'm doing now. So I'm not really like, I don't want to be spending so much and then, all of a sudden, like, guess what? AM5, So, but in general, like, I'm enjoying the build. I'm able to actually play Killing Floor perfectly fine now. The other thing I did want to talk about is that the fact that when I did try to, once I found out that my computer was on its last leg, was when I was trying to play R&D Labs, and R&D Labs footage was completely unusable. Like, it was terrible. Like, you could not even tell what I was looking at because everything was just a frozen image on OBS. In terms of Killing Floor, I do have the NVIDIA, not the drivers, but I do have the NVIDIA overlay on right now. You can't see it because I'm recording on OBS. But if I was recording the whole screen, you would see the overlay. But the FPS right now is sitting around 60 FPS. About my lowest was 30 frames, which isn't too bad. It's still playable. I'm used to playing around that time, around that frame rate anyways, so it's not like a deal killer for me. But yeah, I mean 50 frames, not bad. 50 to 60 at most. While my CPU is sitting at 50 to 70% usage, and then my GPU is at 97% with degrees of 60 Celsius. Not bad. I mean, I do plan on getting more fans to kind of help it cool down a bit, but I know fans don't really do much, so it would be nice to at least, you know, have something for the to kind of like, I guess it would be more for aesthetics, but it's also slightly helpful in a sense where it's handy, you know. But yeah, I mean, I've just been rambling this whole video, honestly. I'm a bit surprised I'm talking this much, but yeah, I mean, this is like more like an update while I'm doing the weekly anyway, so it's not a big deal. CPU situation would probably be my first thing on the list, and then the GPU afterwards would be my next change to really like round out the build more and make it, you know, look good, but at the same time it would still be within a decent price range that I prefer to be in, you know, since I'm not really I'm not like, I don't want to say like I'm not really into gaming as much, but I mean it as in like I don't play games that often, and I really don't play that very many intensive games. Like for instance, like I don't really play like AAA titles, as you guys can tell. With like, I used to, but that was when I was on console. But ever since I started playing on PC, I started playing more like not as intensive games. But in general, my upgrade path is pretty much open. Like, it is very open now, like the wide variety now, because yeah, even though my CPU is technically running at a Gen 3 or AM3 type of speed, it's fine. I mean, I'm used to it, but at least the games itself aren't as affected by it now, because, you know, at least it's will now look decent, you know, so I'm not really too bummed about it. Oh wait, I have full auto on this. Thank you. I keep forgetting he's resistant to... Okay, there we go. But yeah, I mean, game looks a bit better now. I mean, I do have high textures on. I actually want to try something since I am recording those. I'm gonna go with medium settings for now. See how well that affects my FPS. I am at 20 FPS. 39, 37, 36. So, I mean, it looks nice, but I don't want this setting. So we're gonna go with customs for now. So that really, I mean, it doesn't look. It looks the same to me, to be honest. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. I mean, we're at 40, 50 frames. I don't know why I'm like testing this out right now, but you know, obviously, whenever I'm recording it, you know, I want to make sure that if I'm recording, it doesn't affect everything. Medium. Bloom is standard. Reflection. Because if anything, I could just do like all of this low and then texture high. Effects medium, maybe? Because I'm running at 50 FPS, so I mean, I'm not... Let's just see how it goes with whatever boss we're up against. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting at a stable 50 frames. I mean, that's not bad, in my opinion. Obviously, I do believe maybe the GPU might be held back a bit due to the fact that it is... And what the heck? Due to the fact that it is kind of, you know, it's supposed to support Gen 4, but we're all running at Gen 3 speed, so... I mean, it is what it is, right? But I do want to try this out on R&D Labs as well, since R&D Labs was the real kicker, you know? Won't let me run. Why won't you let me run? Okay. I do have toggle on. Okay. Yeah, but the reason why I did want to play ninja is so that I could get more, because it is almost maxed out in terms of just in general, like maxed out to be proficiency 10. So I do want to get that out of the way. But yeah, I mean, new PC runs pretty fine. I mean, running at 40 FPS. I mean, I'm not too stingy about FPS. As long as I'm able to play it, I don't care. And I know like some people were saying that some of the gameplay looks like I'm playing on the Switch, but it's actually the Wii U if you think about it. But running around like 40, 50 FPS, still my lowest 1% is still 30 FPS. Or yeah, 30 FPS, so that's not much of a big dip anyways. So I mean, that's totally fine by me. But anyways, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this little small update and the weekly videos. I talked a lot in this one, so probably this video won't be as heavily edited. So yeah, that's about it.